Welcome to the Chain Out Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Darrell.
Hey everyone, welcome to Chain Out Podcast, episode 38. I'm Jeremy, and with me tonight is PDGA number 257343, otherwise known as your favorite co-host, Darrell. How's it going, buddy?
The numbers do go up that high.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
And I'm not one of the highest. I'm doing good, Jeremy. How are you?
Good. What number are they at right now for PDGA? Do you know? Any idea?
No, I haven't got a clue. I don't think they're into the 300s yet, though. I think they're still 280, somewhere around there. I don't know. I might be wrong. If anyone has a high PDGA number, let us know in the comments.
Well, I know there was a big to-do when 250,000 rolled around because everybody wanted that one. I think they even gave the person who got it a commemorative disc or something.
Yeah, I think that's what we were hearing. Yeah. It'd be a cool number, but I don't think, and that's the thing. Once you get your number, you can't unsubscribe and then rejoin the PDGA again because that number is with you for life, right?
That's right. It's almost like your social insurance number of the PDGA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. It's good to see you again. It doesn't feel like it's been that long this week because we got together on Sunday and got to play around down in Wetaskiwin at Peace Hill Park.
We haven't been. Yeah, Peace Hills Park. Yeah, we haven't been down to play that course in a while. It's one in our local area, and we both like it. We've both been down there and played it for the Battle 6 tournament last year. We played a couple practice rounds, and it's a good course. It's different than anything that we have local. It's a little bit out of our way, but it's worth the trek to go down there. We managed to get 2 rounds in.
Yeah, and one of those ones that I think we've played it enough times because we played it recently, and we did play it in the Battle 6 tournament, that we could do a course review on this one.
We might be doing that later. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have time today, but if we don't, we will get moving on and do it another night, but we'll see how the night goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh, you got a big smile on your face. What's this all about?
I'm happy about this surprise.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play something, and I'm gonna play it out with no Well, I'll give you a little bit of context.
Okay.
If people have been watching the episodes recently, we've mentioned something a couple of times.
Okay.
So I reached out to somebody. I'm gonna leave out a couple names, but I'm gonna tell you what I reached out to them and what I said.
The suspense is building, my friend.
It is. So, hey, my name is Darrell, and I have a podcast in Canada with my friend Jeremy. We mentioned you in a recent episode because you were tied with our Canadian friend Max Rajitnik at the European Open. And then I asked some things, and this is the response I got.
Hi, Darrell and Jeremy. So Max Rajitnik actually used to do some commentary on the Gatekeeper channel for the Swedish Disc Golf Pro Tour. And we've met each other like multiple times before, like we're friends, and he should be able to say my name, but he kept butchering it like during the Skåne Open coverage. He was like, Fritjof, like stuttering, trying to pronounce my name. But yeah, the correct way to say it is Fritjof. So yeah, there you have it. Cheers, guys.
Okay, don't say anything yet. So then I messaged him back saying, that's awesome to hear. I didn't know you and Max were friends. Sorry to be a pain, but could you clarify your last name as well? And I got back.
Fritjof Fagergren.
Fagergren. So there you go. Fritjof Fagergren is now a friend of the show because he messaged us, and I got a personalized message for you from Fritjof.
Darrell, I am like shocked. That's amazing. Like I had no clue who it was, and you didn't tell me anything about this. But the one thing that I'm happy about is we kind of laughed and joked a little bit about it because it's always difficult to say a foreign name and you don't know whether you're doing it right. But I'm thinking if you took mine and put it side by side with his, I wasn't too far off, was I?
No, he wasn't too far off. Well, the one thing I thought was cool that we mentioned that he was tied with Max Rajitnik at the event.
Yes.
And I mentioned that we said, your name because you were tied with Max. And actually, Fritjof knows Max. And I didn't even know that Max did commentary for Swedish media. And so it's kind of cool that it all kind of, they say it's a small world.
Man, you are a total man of mystery. I had no clue. That is
I know.
so awesome. And thank you, Freaktyoff, for doing that, because it's fantastic to be able to talk to you. It's just growing the number of pros that we get to reach out to. So awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. So just play it one more time.
Okay.
Fritjof Fagergren.
There you go.
Green. Okay, yeah. Well, guess what? Freaktyoff, if we see you on the leaderboards, we will be saying your name much more correctly than we were before.
There you go. I've been holding that in for about a week.
Oh, and I bet you, has it been hard?
Oh, yeah. I've been wanting to tell you that because I messaged him on my DJ Disc Golf account so that you didn't see it in the our combined
Instagram, yeah.
And when I got it back, I was like trying to download it, trying to make sure I could save it. I didn't want it to expire or anything like that. I've been saving it, recording it. And yeah, I even said to you on Sunday that I got a good surprise for you. And yeah, just the fact that we actually reach out to a PDGA or, European pro.
Yes.
And,
that's probably our first European pro now that we've technically had on the podcast. That's awesome.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, Darrell, good job. Let's move it along. And I want to talk about something that's happening this weekend. And what we've got going on this weekend is Gabe Piska, friend of the show, also one of the few co-hosts that we've had when one of us hasn't been on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's actually putting on an event this weekend for YU, which is Youth Unlimited.
Yeah.
And it's happening out at the Stony Plain Rotary Disc Golf Course. And that's a brand new course. Have you had a chance to play it yet?
I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I've heard good things about it. I've heard that it's a tight wooded course. Yeah. Good preparation for Aspen Meadows, Falcons Flight. Maybe not quite as severe as what we're going to expect when we go down there, but I'm definitely, it's on my radar to get out there and play. It's not too far away. Like you said, Stony Plain, just outside of Edmonton. New course opened up. Any new course in your local area, you've got to go check it out, right?
Yes. And I actually was kind of on the fence. I didn't know if I was going to be in town or not this weekend, but I realized I am going to be in. Saturday's open. Now it's full because I'm going to be going to the tournament. So
there you go.
You can see 50% of Chain Out Podcast if you come out to the YU tournament. And it is a fundraiser. So as much money as Ken is going to go to Youth Unlimited. There's a raffle. There's a free lunch. I don't think there's any discs or anything like that because it helps put more money towards the charity. So that's a good thing.
And if people want to participate in this event, Jeremy, where can they go?
Well, Darrell, I think if we were to look, you could go to edmontonyouthunlimited.com/disc golf. And you can still register up until the 9th. So you've got a couple more days. So hop on in there and come out and join us. It's going to be a great weekend. It looks like the weather's going to be good. I saw pictures of the course. I know that people were concerned about the lawn being cut. It looks like it's all been cut by the city or the town and should be good to go.
Cool.
Well, what else do we got going on? Maybe we should give everybody kind of a summary of the episode here.
We should. We're done with the fun now. Let's get into the serious business of the episode, Jeremy. We're going to maybe discuss the Olympics. The Olympics is happening right now. Should disc golf be in the Olympics? Yes. Jeremy will give you his view later on.
Yeah. After that, we're going to have our interview with Darrel Bankes. We've got a lot of things to talk about with him, and we had him on once before, but this time we're going to get the full meal deal for an interview with him. Yeah.
We're going to recap an event that went down this past weekend, the Lost Egg event. So we're going to recap that.
Yeah. And then also, if time permits, we'll do a course review of the Wetaskiwin course, but if not, we'll just push that to another episode. So we'll see how the episode goes.
As always, we're going to ask the listeners for a secret word. If you've got any questions for us, get them in the chat. We'll answer them later on.
And we'll finish up, as always, with what are the Canadians on the DGPT up to this week?
Yeah.
So, Darrell, when I thought about this, actually, I had this suggestion from another friend of ours or listener of the show was Darrell Henderson. He had mentioned a little bit about the Olympics and thought, hey, maybe that might be something we could discuss. And I thought you and I would have a really heated debate about whether disc golf should be in the Olympics, and you'd have lots of opinions and stuff. But I've learned that, as you said, this might be a little one-sided.
Yeah, I don't watch the Olympics. I don't really have any views on the Olympics. I'm undecided whether, how about we turn it into convince me? If I hold up a sign, disc golf shouldn't be in the Olympics, convince me or change my mind.
Well, here's
There you
my
go.
thing is what I figured was that a lot of people talk about disc golf in the Olympics, but do they really know what it takes to get a sport into the games? And I
Mhm.
thought maybe I did a little research and I figured that maybe rather than just debate whether it should be or not, because I think it should be in the games. There's been so many other games out there that have been in there. You know, golf's in there. I know it's been around since like 1600, but it's a very similar sport. So
Yeah.
if golf can be in there, then why can't disc golf? Heck, the modern pentathlon. Have you looked at what that event is?
No, I haven't.
Well,
What's that all about?
the modern pentathlon involves, I think that was the one that the Ukrainian guy was in, and there's been a lot of memes about him shooting, but it has a shooting aspect in it involved with running. It has swimming. It has this point where they get on horses that they've never ridden. They've only known them for 20 minutes, and then they try to jump those horses around a course. I'm like, if an event like that is in the Olympics,
Yeah.
you can't tell me there's a reason disc golf can't be in the Olympics.
Is hopscotch in the Olympics?
Yeah, not yet, but we'll
Oh.
see.
Yeah.
So here, let me give you, I've got a ton of facts, but I figured, like I said, for our listeners and for everyone else, what we can figure out is what does it take to get into the Olympics. So one of the things is, first of all, there's 45 different sports represented at the Olympics, but that's like the sport. But then there's a whole bunch of different games and events underneath it. Like say, for example, athletics is a sport in the Olympics, but athletics encompasses javelin, pole vault, all the track events, that type of thing. So it's not like they're all separate ones that way.
Yeah.
But the first thing that you have to do is you have to get recognized by the Olympics as a sport. And that's done by the International Olympic Committee, or the IOC. Yes. And once recognized, you move to IF status, which is part of the International Sports Federation. And then what they want you to do is you have to follow the World Anti-Doping Code, and you got to test your competitors. So if we're talking about things that might put a damper on at least the old school disc golfers,
that might be a stumbling block. Yeah.
That might be a stumbling block. I know it's changed a whole lot, but if that was something that people were participating in by testing, that would have to clean that part of the sport up for sure.
Yeah.
So then the other thing that Olympics has been doing as well, when I was checking it out, is in recent years, they have to, if they put in a sport, they have to take out a sport, or that's what they've been doing. Kind of like we were talking and joking about with the discs. If we're going to bring in new discs, we're going to have to take ones out.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they've been doing so that it doesn't get crazy with the sports. So that's why like softball has been in there and then pulled out. And also sometimes the logistics of trying to have these events.
Right.
And then the other thing is it really takes media and public interest, because if the media wants to see the sport and public interest is out there and they want to see the sport, then that will also put it in there. So do you feel like you know more about how to get disc golf into the Olympics?
Yeah. Still don't have an opinion on it.
I thought you'd be so excited with all this work that I've been doing.
Well, here's a take. It's happening right now. The Olympics is happening right now. Summer Olympics.
Right.
Disc golf Pro Tour is happening right now.
Right.
So how are you going to run two events? It's like having the Premier League football at the same time as the World Cup.
Right.
Like you can't have two events running at the same time that are just as valuable, because you're going to draw one away from the other.
Well, you've seen in the past with hockey and with other events like that, what ends up happening is there's a break in the season, and it's an Olympic break. So in hockey, what had happened was the whole league stops for 2.5 weeks or however long it is for the Winter Olympics. So I would expect that the Pro Tour could do the same thing, so that players.
But that's played outdoors. Hockey's played indoors in an arena.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the season for disc golf is short.
True. So I guess it depends. Maybe it becomes part of, I don't know.
Or maybe we just don't put it in the Olympics. We let the Olympics have their thing, and we just keep watching the disc golf Pro Tour during the summer.
For a guy who didn't have an opinion, you've got a lot to say.
No, I don't have an opinion.
Well, the last things I want to add to this, because I do want to get to our guest, is that what's happening next is that the World Games are happening in the summer of 2025, so next year, and that's in Chengdu, China. And at those events, the Worlds has had Ultimate in there for quite a while, but the last time that disc golf was in there was in 2001. So it's actually going to be in 2025, and it's going to have 16 nations competing as mixed pairs. So male, female, so a total of 32 athletes competing. And that type of thing they're hoping to use as a springboard to get disc golf into the 2032 Olympics that are in Brisbane, Australia. And then we know WIFDIF is heading to Perth, Australia this year. So I think there's a lot of things happening where hopefully we can see in Australia in 2032, as per my notes, that disc golf could be in the Olympics. And I would love to see it. I think that would be amazing. That's my spiel. Cool. Cool story, Hansel.
I'm not sure you've convinced me, but maybe, leave us a comment if you agree with Jeremy or if you don't really care like me.
Yeah, there you go. And for your thing about having to have it in a perfect place, Sonia in our comments there had said that surfing was held in Tahiti. It wasn't even held in France this year. So
that is true.
They will relocate the sports if they need to. Well, what do you think, Darrell? Should we get on to our guest?
Let's get on with the guest, Jeremy. That's why everybody's tuned in.
Perfect. Tonight's guest does so much for Canadian disc golf. A PDGA member since 2012, he is the president of Tin Lid Disc Golf Company, a company that designs disc golf courses, including the Stone Creek course in Fort McMurray and the Mauka, if I've said it right, disc golf course in Kauai, Hawaii. He's in charge of business development for Innova Canada, and he is the tournament director for the Innova Rip Q-Series A-Tier coming to Ontario in September. We're happy to have Darrel Bankes on the podcast. Welcome, Darrell.
Oops. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me again. It's
not a problem. Sorry.
Goat. We just had league tonight. So.
Yeah. I normally, I've been trying to get in the habit of giving our guests a bit of a warning that there's a bit of a delay. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to get brought in pretty quickly, but I didn't do it this week. So sorry to catch you on the hop there, but.
That's all right. Just writing down a couple notes. So
yeah. Well, it's fantastic. Yeah. We had you on the show for the Foxwood Open because you were one of the tournament directors at that event. And we had a good chance to kind of review the Foxwood Open, but we didn't get a full interview with you. And you're a player who's been around the game for quite a while in Canada. So we thought tonight we could really dive into Innova Rip. We thought we could talk about Tin Lid. We can talk about Innova Canada, get lots of things and do that type of thing. So, but you're saying Haute Goat, you're out there. It looks like a very similar backdrop to what we saw you last time. And tonight was league night?
Yeah, tonight's league night at Haute Goat. And we just had, we're kind of wrapping up our season, 3 weeks of finals. This was a doubles night, sort of we play a bit singles rounds and doubles rounds on alternating weeks. And we just did a rotating doubles based on ranking of players and handed out a few prizes. So I think we had 5 cards out tonight. So 20 people, give or take. And so pretty fun. Lovely evening here. Beautiful sunset, but it's dark now. So.
Yeah, it's starting to get dark quicker already. Hey, we're kind of on that tail. We're not on the tail end of summer, but at least for the dark starting to creep in earlier, that's already happening.
Yeah, it was definitely a little darker. We had one card that at least finished in the dark tonight, but they were just playing slow. So.
Yeah, those after work rounds are starting to you're gonna have to start right after work and no hanging around, no chatting to people, Jeremy.
Yeah,
gotta get out, get your rounds done. Yeah.
Well, we realize that too out here, Darrell, when it gets as things move into the fall, Darrell and we end up having to go out on Saturday morning or Sunday morning first thing, because if you try to go after work, you're playing glow, guaranteed.
That'll be the case here soon. We run summer league and then it moves back to weekends only for the league. So,
yeah. Now, hey, when we were looking, Darrell, we noticed that last year you kind of got into a few tournaments and you were playing them, but this year you don't have any. I'm sure you're quite busy with 1,000 things you've got on the go. But is league the one time that you get out a week? Or are you trying to get out to other events, or what are you doing?
I wish I could get out and play some more events. There's a ton of great events going on. I've just been slammed this year. I can't get away. The Innova Rip has definitely blown up into a big tournament. So, I'm working hard on that. And the course needs a ton of work this year to upgrade it. So, and just doesn't seem to stop raining or being hot out here. So grass is growing perpetually, and it's a little different than the dry weather you guys are suffering from out west.
Yeah, exactly. Are you at least getting out for some recreational rounds? You getting out for some casual disc
I,
golf?
I play a fair bit of casual,
Yeah.
between league and people just showing up, and I'll bomb out for 9 holes with some players. I'm always trying to host people, as players come in to check out the course, especially some getting ready for the tournament. I try and drive a couple of them around, point out some things, join them for a couple holes. So, that's a little bit of the fun too.
Yeah.
I also,
Quite the host.
I'll go hide somewhere else and play every now and then. So, I like going up to Abbey Gardens to play if I can get up there. So.
Nice. Yeah, I remember when we talked to you last time, you put that one on our must playlist when we come to Ontario. So we've written that one down.
All right.
Yeah. And like I said, is the last time we had you on, which was episode 27, it was more of a recap. And we do want to dive into Innova Rip pretty quick. But before that, you know what you didn't get by not being on a full episode like tonight? You didn't get your origin story. We never did one for you. So, normally we would say, some people would say, hey, Darrell, how'd you get into disc golf? And that's what we would ask. But that's not what we do on this one. We come up with something a little more exciting. So I've come up with a possible origin story for you. You tell me if it kind of lines up with anything that happened in your start to disc golf. So maybe when you were younger, Darrell, you met a disc golfer who took you under their wing. They taught you all of their disc golf skills. You practiced hard, pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into this sport. You became quite good, even winning the 2014 Enchanted Forest Drive 7. But you heard tell of a coveted event in the far-off region of Waterloo, Ontario. Formerly, the event was known as the Ontario Provincial Disc Golf Championships, but it was better known as Disc Kumite. You traveled 200 of kilometers from Peterborough to square off against MP50s like Robert Martinick, Patrick Trude, and George Jansen. Round after round, you battled, putting up your dukes with the crowd yelling and cheering. One opponent even threw a little dirt in your direction mid-putt to try and blind you, but you battled through and were victorious, becoming the Disc Kumite winner. Now, maybe that's not quite how you got into disc golf, Darrell, but why don't you tell us how it really happened?
It really happened just with I used to play Ultimate, and then one of the players just left. So I used to play Ultimate in Peterborough. Peterborough has a big Ultimate community, and we're up in Thunderstorm Alley here. So 6 o'clock shows up. We're standing on the field. Ulti gets canceled for the evening. A thunderstorm rolls through. It's done in 12 minutes, and a couple of the guys go, hey, let's just go play some disc golf. So I joined them for that for once and went, oh, this works. I used to play a lot of ball golf when I was a kid and grew up around golf. So it came naturally to me. And then, I'm a little older, so you start to realize you don't want to play Ultimate anymore because you're going to blow out the knee or get another concussion or something like that. So I just gravitated straight to disc golf and went, yeah, this suits me fine. So, and then I just play.
Yeah.
Played for quite a few years and got into it work-wise pretty quick. I'm a landscape architect by background, so sort of suited some of the things I like in life. So,
yeah,
nice.
Seems like you had quite the coming of the triangle there. You had the Ultimate, you had the ball golf, kind of combined the two, and
yeah. And with that, what were some of the first courses you would have played out back when you started? Do you remember?
Oh, I mean, that's already 10, 11 years ago. Slim pickings. Like, we've had a boom of disc golf in Ontario, like the rest of Canada, in the last decade and a bit. So I would have been playing, the Peterborough course, Riverview, right down by the water, old school in the zoo property.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Bronny Creek Provincial Park, that was around at the time. Centennial Park. Those were the go-tos. I managed to get out to Toronto Island a couple times, but, that's always been it's a bit of a haul out there. I have family in Oakville near Bronny Creek Provincial Park, so that played well. Yeah. But really didn't get much further than that until, you find a buddy you can sucker into doing a road trip into the States or something. One of the early ones we did was a gorgeous trip down the Hudson River Valley. So if you go that way, there's a whole bunch of courses down there that are, lovely places to drop in all through the Finger Lakes of upstate New York and down the valley there. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those original courses that you mentioned, are they still going? Are they still good courses?
Oh, Bronte Creek Provincial Park's booming. I mean, that's a great property. They've got tons of course. They got tons of people putting effort into that place. The zoo is, it has challenges, but it's a lovely park course that's small and fun, and tons of people can get to it. It's right up by the university in Peterborough. So, Centennial Park, unfortunately, they're doing a major reno of that one right now, but one of our other Innova ambassadors, Adam Hazel, is kind of the curator of that park. So he's working hard with the whole city and the process there, that when that park gets finished and reconstructed, disc golf will be a vibrant part of it again. They've just had to do massive stormwater retentions things. Right. And Toronto Island's constantly getting upgraded too. I mean, it's getting better and better. And they've added more baskets, more tees, cleaning it up a little bit. So, I mean, Toronto's got, we've got great disc golf here. So
yeah, spoiled for choice, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually had a friend do a little trip out to Ontario, and he made it onto Toronto Island and said it was looking good. It was in full growth and just looked like almost like your best manicured Augusta type golf course, the way they had it going that day.
It is special out there. The fact you get to take the ferry out to Toronto Island, go for a nice tour. They've got restaurants, everything you need out there. It's always full of people, or not always, but often when you're playing. So, it's a bit of a challenge sometimes with the amount of people out there, but it's just gorgeous. I mean, being out on Lake Ontario, you go out to the non-city side of the island, it's almost like being out on the ocean. It's so big out there. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, Darrell, speaking of gorgeous golf courses and wonderful things happening out in Ontario, let's do it. Let's dive into the Innova Rip. And like I said, is when we talked about it last time, we just touched on it, but we really want to dive into it because it feels like it's getting bigger and bigger every single week. There's always a new post.
Yeah, it's we're probably hitting the peak of its bigness at the moment. We're only 5 weeks away now, so things are really starting to. You kind of have to nail the tournament down in the next 5-10 days as far as all the things that are going on. Yeah. But I mean, the latest bit of news: Paige Pierce just committed to coming up to play with us for the week.
Wow.
And she's doing that just. I mean, she's not coming for the money. Like, you have a lovely purse. It's great and all, but this is an A tier. It's in Canada. It's the first year it's running at this scale. So, it's not going to be a massive purse that's going to be what's drawing these players up. It's the opportunity to come and connect with Canadian fans, come and see what it's like in Canada. And really what I'm hoping is do what we need to do, which is kind of convince the Pro Tour and all the parts of the disc golf industry that it's time there's a permanent visit to Canada of these players consistently every year. There's a fan base big enough, especially in Ontario with, just our population base. So, Paige Pierce is coming now. So, that's a lovely thing that's happened in the last week. And,
Well, that's exciting for sure. And then the other thing too is why don't we start even to the beginning a bit for anybody who's listening who hasn't, I don't know how they couldn't have heard of the Innova Rip yet, but in case they haven't, let's appeal to them as well and say, so it's happening in 5 weeks. What are the dates? And then where is it going to be held at?
So it's September 13th to 15th, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-day A-tier tournament.
Yep.
It's happening here at Haute Goat. Haute Goat is about an hour east of Toronto. Just north of the 401. We're literally 5 minutes off of the 401 and just north of Port Hope. So it's a rolling landscape out here, a bit of high country. So we get some good winds on the property. We're hoping the winds pick up for the tournament. To give an idea, not just usually I'm looking out a black window here because it's dark, but I can see windmills, like those big commercial windmills, on the next couple of hills. That's how much wind we get up this way sometimes.
Right.
So, but anyway, so the tournament's up here. It's the 3 days are the main event, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're expecting spectators and the like. There's a couple things happening earlier in the week. We can touch on that in a sec. But it is a Disc Golf Pro Tour Q-Series event. Mm-hmm. It is the only one in Canada this year. there's a lot of details associated with what a Q-Series is, but the goal of the Q-Series is to give up-and-coming pro players or want to be pro players that are touring a chance to earn Disc Golf Pro Tour points and give them the chance to win a qualifying spot where they can go and play one of the bigger events if there's been limited space.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of fine details on this, and they establish what it is. But one of the perks is that if you're one of the players that wins this, you kind of get a buy into one of the bigger tournaments that you may not be eligible for. And then I'm not exactly sure how they're doing all the math on it because, you know, I'm not the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but they are giving points to different players. And I think those points go towards their ability to get a tour card in subsequent years.
Gotcha.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah. So it does have value. And that is part of the reason we're attracting a lot of the players. You know, we are also lucky enough because it is an Innova sponsored tournament. They are the title sponsor. They've also given us 2 USDGC qualifying spots.
Wow.
And 1 Throw Pink qualifying spot, Throw Pink Disc Golf Championship, which happens the same weekend as the USDGC. So, you know, that's a draw for some players.
Yeah.
You know, I had one of the, I won't say, but, you know, it's one of the more prominent pros email the other day. And, you know, because we sent, we recently sent an invitation email through the Disc Golf Pro Tour. They sent it out to a bunch of their players. And one of them kind of implied, well, I might try and come up to see if I can win a USDGC qualifying spot.
Nice.
You know, so
yeah,
a lot of the players will have them, but you know, there's 2 available. So
yeah,
and you know, there's a lot of pro players that find that attractive. You know, probably look at their sponsors if they can be at the USDGC. So
yeah,
let alone it's spectacular tournament. It's the biggest, you know, one of the biggest shows in disc golf. So
yeah. I think we spoke to Chantel earlier on in the season, and I think that was one of her goals. I think it was Foxwood that she qualified for Throw Pink. And she had mentioned that she was going to go to another event if she didn't qualify at this event, but it turned out that she did. So a lot of those pros are already looking at their, you know, they're planning out their schedule to think, well, okay, if I don't qualify here, you know, this is my next opportunity. This is my next opportunity. So yeah, definitely for, like you said, for those people that haven't qualified yet, this is definitely a great opportunity for them. Still open for them to be able to qualify.
Yeah. And Chantel's still coming to the Rip, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to having her, and you know, hopefully she'll be on a card with Paige and have a chance to, you know, show around the property. So
yeah,
that would be great.
I've been here a couple of times, so I think she's familiar with it enough. So
well, and Darrell, when you were talking about Haute Goat before, you were saying it would be interesting to see if the pros could come up here and tear this course up. But one of the things I noticed in the posts and stuff that you've been putting out there is that you've been working on a new gold layout to maybe to prevent them from just tearing it up and maybe give them a bit more challenge. What's it looking like?
It gets tougher, but you know, this is an A tier, right? You know, so we're trying to, we want the pros to come to Canada for this one and to have fun. We want them to showcase their talents. We really want them to come and rip it up. Like, that's the point of it. You know, that's kind of where the name came from. We want the players to take a rip up to Canada and come and rip up the course and, you know, rip around and have a good time. Like, we aren't expecting to create all kinds of weird things to try and just beat people up because of trickiness or anything. It's going to be a fair course. None of these players are going to have trouble walking out here and playing it twice and then knowing roughly what they have to do. So, you know, there's been obviously some discussion about how well they'll do.
Right.
You know, so there's, you know, little side bets, little jokes going on. Are we going to get a minus 16? But, you know, no one's really thinking it's quite there, but I wouldn't be shocked if some of these guys come out here and drop a minus 14, you know.
What is the course record right now?
You know, the course has only been here 3 years. We've stretched it out how we can this year. We'll tighten up some OBs. We're adding some fun features. You know, not terribly gimmicky, but that's part of what goes on in disc golf now, is that in order to spice up a course, you might put some things out that add a challenge in some locations. So it's, it's good. Yes, we've been working on the gold, what we're calling a gold layout. I'm kind of changing it to just the MPO Rip and FPO Rip layouts.
Gotcha.
They've been, and I'm massaging them. I changed it yesterday. I had enough feedback about one of the holes that, I kind of thought it was going to work this way. And they just went, Darrell, it's just easier now. We would just, now we can just sort of lay it up, lob it up short and go for this. And I'm like, it would never occur to me you'd lob it up short sometimes. It just, my brain got stuck in a thought. Yeah. And then a bunch of guys gave some feedback. So we're probably going to, go back to a different position on that one. And where they thought the green was tougher, even though the hole is shorter, the green is tougher and creates a little bit more challenge. And some of those guys probably remember playing tournaments here in the wind. So if we do get the wind cranked up on a hole like that, all of a sudden a elevated basket on a slope becomes, rather annoying. So anyways, that's hole 9 I'm referring to. One of our players, Calvin Roord, offered some thoughts the other day, and a few other people have mentioned it, and we chatted back and forth. I'm like, fine, we'll test it out that way. That way now. We're lucky enough. We got a tournament here this weekend. We got the Lake Ontario Open, and it's a 3-course tournament. We've got about 70 odd players coming, but we have some MP40 and some MPO players. So they're going to do a test run on the MPO layout that's being used for the Rip. Right. So hopefully after the weekend, I'll get some more feedback from these people. We've still got time, ideally, put it this way, 95% of the course is there, or 90% of the course is done, right? It's just, do you move that basket? Which pin placement do you choose? We're not planning to change pin locations over the weekend. Every now and then some tournaments do a long and a short and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When you have a bunch of new players coming that aren't familiar with the course, and it hasn't been on tour or been a repeat tournament, I really don't want them having to go out and figure out 2 lines.
Right.
These guys are only coming, they're finishing up a big tournament down in, D-Glow down in Michigan. Yeah. Great Lakes Open down there. They're only going to have a couple days to practice. All of these big players have never been here. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure that way.
You want it to be really fair, and you want them to have fun. Like, the whole point of these guys coming here is to promote.
Yes.
At least that's what I think it should be about. It's about them coming to try and make, touch base with Canadian fans, come and see what Canada is a little bit about, help promote what we're doing here to see if we can convince a pro tour event to permanently come to Ontario.
That'd be so awesome.
Or it happens at another property or something, but it all just keeps coming here. It's got to happen. So,
You speculated there about what you think that the pros might be able to shoot over the course. What is the current course record? Do you know?
Well, the problem is I just keep changing it, so I don't get any.
That's true. Yeah.
Right, but we had a great one of our great local Innova ambassadors, Adam Hazel, came out on the weekend. It's still not in its finished point, but he shot a -4.
Okay.
So we're pretty happy. Adam doesn't mind me sharing that, but he had a nice round. It was great conditions. It was, wasn't terribly windy, I followed him around a little bit, and he was making some great shots. So, he had a lovely day. But I had a couple others come in, -2, +2. So
it's all
it'll be very weather dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Darrell, when they go out and when a baby's going to be born, they put the weight and they put the date or the time or whatever, and they make one of those boards, right? Yeah. Maybe we should put all of the minus numbers on there, and you can sell for $5. We can raise some extra money for a good cause, and we can all try and determine what the best score is going to be. Give me -7 as a square if you do it up.
We can sell the different squares for a certain amount of money. That could be kind of fun. So I think after this weekend we'll get a little bit of clarity. because there's a few pros, but this is a fairly casual tournament that's coming. But players are coming out regularly now. There's a bunch of Ontario-based pros that want to come out and do well.
Nice.
And
one good thing about not only for, like you said, about people from the States coming up to promote themselves and get to know their fan base, one good way that they can do that is by being on coverage. So we know that the event is being filmed as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Ace Run Pro is coming up to film it out of the States. They'll be up here for 6 days, probably coming in on Monday evening or Tuesday after they finish down in Michigan. I'm pretty sure they're down there.
Right.
So they're going to come up. They're going to film all 3 rounds, create 6 episodes like they typically do. They also have a special thing they do. They do what's one of their features is doing an Ace Run challenge.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of just a casual event where they'll take a cluster of pros, go hang out on one specific tee, and basically have a live sort of podcast, fun type of show of players, trying to just make aces.
Right.
Nice.
So
do you have a specific hole that might be which one might be the best one to pick?
These guys to come up there, and these guys are pros. The Ace Run Pro guys have been filming disc golf forever. So I have a couple ideas in mind. We got a couple that are great for spectators to hang out on the bank.
Right.
There's a nice slope. They could watch it. The views from it are lovely. The lighting should be good. It's right near Tournament Central. So that might work.
Yeah.
But they might also just go, you know what, we want to try this one or one. And
they've got the eye for it.
Let them. It's their baby, right?
Yes.
You got to let pros do what they do, and they'll be able to make some good choices and have some fun with it. So we're excited to have them come up, which is it's a challenge. Bringing the big crews in to film is an expense that you have to cover, and we're pretty happy. We've had some great sponsors step up and help us for this one. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things too, Darrell, with this is the event is full right now. 160 registered players as of Disc Golf Scene is what I've seen. Although I know you've got some save spots. Maybe
we got
is that right?
Save spots. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you got some save spots, and what I wanted to say first was, let's start with the Canadians. I want to run through a couple of these names, give these guys some loves and these ladies that we've got coming there. We got Calvin Rueda, as you mentioned before, Cam Zanini, who we just had on the show last week, Chris Ozelins, Ezra Lockington, Jake Voskamp, Kaylin Schatt, Chantil Bandinsky, Kat Johnson, and Rebecca Dawn, just to name a few of the big names that are going to be there.
I mean, you missed Tom Hums.
Yes.
You missed Joe Vanderveen.
Right.
Those are down to the USDGC guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
it's amazing, right? Like we could just go through it for probably 10 minutes, just naming some of these Canadians.
Yeah. Like we've got a great cluster of Canadians coming out. So that's, that'll be just fun in and of itself. And like the joy for some of these players, even what I'm hoping even the MA1 and the FA1 players take out of it, because we're making the MA1s and FA1s play the pro layout.
Wow. Yeah.
I just went, the whole point of this is that they can then go home afterwards and go, oh, I got to go practice. It's like they're going to come out and score X, and everyone else scored X minus, one third X or something. Like there'll be such a differential of scoring that, I think they're going to find it pretty challenging, some of them, but that's going to be the joy. Like I would absolutely love to go out there and play disc golf and go, oh, that's why Philo is so much better than me.
Yes.
Right? Like, cause it'll just be, I played the exact same holes, the exact same layout on the same card practically, or, in the same division, give or take, and be able to go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he scored 12 strokes better than me. And I thought I played, like it'll be that kind of fun. So that is some of the joy of this. I'm glad we're able to get the MA1s and the FA1s playing. So that'll be good.
And we also noticed, right? You got the Canadian players who are playing. but there's maybe a few other interesting names now. You already gave one away with Paige Pierce that's coming, but if I got you backed up here in case you don't name them all because there are a lot to name. But why don't you tell everybody who else is going to be at this event?
Oh, well, we've got the boys coming. So the boys are coming. You got Gannon Burr, Alden Harris, Gavin Babcock, Ezra Robinson, Isaac Robinson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, we've got current world leader, world 1 year world champs. Like there's some players in there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Innova's coming strong with Jeremy Collings coming up to play.
Yeah.
As far as from the guys' side of the table.
Yeah.
We've got in the Canadian, I think you even forgot to mention Kim Scott Wood, buddy.
Oh, I did too. Yes.
Like, come on. He's like
1,000 something rated, right?
Top of the ratings list on that pile.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes.
Kim gets all mad at me because he's a good supporter of what we got going on here in the.
My apologies, Kim. Let me say it on the show.
So I mean, we got Silas Schultz coming.
Yeah.
We have
got Philo's coming as well, right?
Coming.
Alden Harris.
Alden Harris. Philo's going to play with the MP40 crowd.
Oh, is he really?
Well, of course. He's MP40.
Yeah.
So he's because he's like, that'll be the fun of it. And for the MP40 guys, that's going to be a riot.
Oh, for sure. Could you imagine, Darrell? Because we both play MA40 right now, so we could technically play MP40. Could you imagine just going to the RIP, playing MP40, and magically getting selected to be on Philo's card? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh, man.
So there's some fun just in that. Who else did I forget already, though?
I think you got everybody.
You got everyone on my list. And I know like Carter Aarons and some of the other players who've shown up on the DGPT are coming as well. But
hold on, I got to ask you. A name I'm pretty busy with disc golf, so I don't get to watch as much as I would like. But I just glanced before this meeting to look at the the PDGA ratings. I tagged it by ratings. Like Luke Taylor, 1036 rated player.
Wow.
I think. And I'm shocked. I don't even know. And I feel bad. I'm sorry. I got to put on reading glasses for this.
1032.
Okay.
Yeah.
1032.
Yeah.
That's a rating, guys.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, Darrell, that's one of those things by us doing this show is trying to get some attention to those Canadians, because you're right. Because even for us guys out west, anybody who has been around disc golf long enough knows someone like Cam Zanini. But for Darrell and I, he was a new name. And then we couldn't believe more people didn't know about him. So that's what's so great about having these conversations and that and bringing attention to all these guys. And say Luke Taylor as well, for example, like 1032 rated and we didn't mention him. How did that happen?
Yeah. He's in the top, the top little pile of players. So, but you can only follow so much disc golf. There are other things to do in life. So
I mean, like you said, we could go down the list, and there's so many names that when you're watching the coverage, they may not be on the lead card, but you'll definitely see their names pop up as the leaderboard scrolls through. I mean, another new guy that has just been doing quite well recently, Randon Latta. He's in there as well. Sullivan Tipton, Jared Stoll was on there as well. So we could just keep going on and on about all these names, but it's definitely a stacked event that if you like disc golf, you're going to want to attend for sure.
Yeah, it's a stack. So speaking of attending, so we have day passes. We have it's a spectator event. We are charging a fee to spectate at this event. The spectating fee is necessary to help pay for all of the stuff you need to run such a big event, and also the pro purses and all the stuff. So we do have a ton of lovely tickets for sale.
Nice. They're
available on, through a couple spots. You can get them through the Haute Goat website. You can get them through the Innova Rip.ca website. I'm soon going to figure out a way to just make them available on Disc Golf Scene. I'm working on that.
Okay.
What's kind of fun is we've also got, all the players. They'll be wearing pink passes,
right?
And their caddies if they come and the like. So we're making the effort to really do those up well. Those were put together by Luke from Diameter Apparel, who's one of our major sponsors of this event too. So that's been kind of fun.
Well, Darrell, for the people who are coming to spectate. So say someone wants to come. Do you know what the costs are to come, and is there going to be a lot of places to see or to follow around? Is the course set up well for that?
This is a great spectator course.
Okay.
So it's a big farm property. So we have space. It's not like a course where you had to jam a course into a tiny landscape,
Right.
Or, you got 40 good acres and you got to keep 18 holes in the 40 acres, which is enough landscape for a disc golf course. Like we have 200 acres on the property here. And what am I trying to say? The course
with 200,
120 of it.
Yeah.
But within the middle of it, there's 80 acres that are just like farmers' fields and stuff. So that time of year, people are going to be able to walk in any direction they want, wander across any field they want, basically. Obviously not in the middle of play and the like, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, there's plenty of space. This venue is a venue. As much as we call it Haute Goat Farm and we call it, we're out on the farm here, this place hosts concerts. This place hosts large events. We've got an event called Goatchella coming up in 2 weeks. And Goatchella, at the last talk at the office, here in the office today, it was like, well, they've already sold 400 tickets or something to Goatchella.
Wow.
And so there's a giant festival hosted here, a music festival called Cultivate in September. And like we do 3 nights of music, like full live. We got 2 or 3 stages going.
Wow.
Like big Canadian bands like Sarah Harmer and those level of players, musicians.
Bands,
they're coming out to do like it's a giant stage show and everything. Like this is a venue that can host people. It's a professional place. So we're in a full restaurant here. I'm just occupying some tiny little wall here with the disc golf stuff.
Right.
There's parking. We've got a giant riding stable, which, I'm debating whether we're going to try and push to see if that's a practice area for the pros. That's indoors and private. How we can tweak that a little bit to work well. It's 180 feet long. You can't do full drives and stuff, but as far as a warm up in private. So, this is a spot where people can come. So spectators are welcome. We want as many spectators as we can. Day passes are $20, but every day pass comes with a free round of disc golf at Haute Goat.
Oh, wow.
That day to be used anytime you like. So, so that's just a bonus.
That pays for itself. Yeah.
And we're charging $40 if people want to buy, come for all 3 days on the weekend. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Saturday is going to be the fun day here.
Well, let's get into that too, Darrell, because I was going to say, even if you're not playing in the tournament, if you're not registered, if you're coming as a spectator, or you just wanted to be part for a day or so, like this is like a whole week of activities and there's lots of things coming up. So, why don't we start with one of those? The first thing I had on my list was the clinic with the boys. So tell us when that is and what's going on with that one.
So on Wednesday afternoon, the boys will be here. We expect they'll be out doing practice rounds during the day. But at the moment, we've got a clinic plan starting about 5:30. It's disc golf, probably starts 5:45. And geez, my family keeps texting me.
They're saying you're doing awesome. Keep it going.
So
you're talking about disc golf again?
My family's pretty sick of disc golf. No. So the boys are coming. 4 of them are going to do the clinic at least. It might be 5. These guys are busy. They're running around the world playing disc golf. So, but they've done these clinics before in other jurisdictions, at other events. So we've got about 36 spots filled already on the tournament, on the clinic. We're hoping to do about 44.
Okay. So get in quick, I guess, right?
It costs $70 for this clinic, but all the money goes to these guys.
Yeah.
Like this is strictly a way to help subsidize them coming up to Canada, the extra effort they're making to come here, staying locally, hanging around, playing some disc golf in the area. and, offsetting some of their travel costs and the like. You know, sure, this is their week off, because fundamentally it's an off week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. You're pulling that up.
Yeah.
There we go.
And so
Yeah.
basically $70 Canadian, it goes to them. So if you're looking at it, they'll make $500-600 each as it's sitting right now with 30-40 people coming or something, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great help for sure for them.
it's a good deal for them. And when are we going to have them up here doing a clinic?
Hopefully next year,
I
right
was just
after
gonna
this
say,
year.
hopefully next year.
Anytime soon, it's happening here at Haute Goat. So
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm still reaching out to, I'm hoping maybe Philo or Paige would like to do a different clinic on a different day or something, or do some sort of fan experience thing that allows them to engage a little bit with some of the players. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
we're still working on that.
So, and then as well as the clinic, the other thing, because I got a few on the list, so I'll just hammer you with them. You say something about them, and then I'll move to the next one for you. But there's some Uplay clinics. Is Zoe Andike or what's going on with
anymore.
that?
So
Okay, that's not happening. We can scratch that.
Scratch that.
Darrell, go to the next one.
Go to the next one. We also got.
I don't think that's still on the agenda. Like, it's not on the.
We'll fire the research guy. Don't worry. So we've also got a pro-am event happening as well.
Well, yeah, no.
That may not be happening either.
You guys have got old news there, boys.
That's why
like
we're
said,
having you on, Darrell.
Things change.
What we've done is, the Uplay folks decided they couldn't make it.
Okay.
So then they were going to do a clinic. So that's where the boys stepped in and filled in that void.
Gotcha.
So they're offering a good clinic. We were hoping they would be here, and perhaps next year they'll be able to make it, because we have a bunch of. I've been lucky enough to put disc golf courses on quite a few schools in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So we were hoping that Uplay would be able to do a bit of a connection with one of the schools or two of the schools, and they would come out maybe on the Friday,
Right.
Spectate some of the players, and then do a bit of a clinic with Uplay on some part of the property. But whatever. We'll try that next year. So it's really coming down to the Ace Run Challenge. If it happens, not sure what night of the week it's going to happen, but logically it's probably going to be on the Thursday. So there'll probably be some fun to do with that. We're not sure whether that'll be it'll be a spectated event, but I don't think we're going to charge for coming to watch that. It'll just be nice to have some fans out.
We are going to try another one, Darrell.
We are.
If this is it.
I think this one's gonna hit, being an Innova sponsored event.
All right, hit them with it.
You're gonna do the Glow Wombat Challenge.
Yes. So Jeff Panis, Wombat Man himself, who does the large chunk of the social media for Innova discs in general across the entire realm of us. He's coming up. He's going to help me host a Wombat Challenge. They've done a brand new Wombat Challenge Canada stamp, and we're getting the first run of Proto Glow Wombats.
Wow.
Sweet.
So we're doing it at night. We're going to be glowing up the Ace Place course that's here. It's going to start at probably about 6 p.m. We'll be able to send people off the front nine. So we have an Ace Place, a par 3 short course, 200 feet and less, give or take,
right,
as an overlay on the front nine here at Haute Goat. So, and that circulates around nicely and finishes back where we have the fly marks and stuff like that going on.
right.
So that'll be a fun little Ace Place, short course challenge. Players can sign up for that. They're for $35 Canadian. They get they get a Proto Glow Wombat. We're gonna have a bunch of prizes. They bring their own putter though.
Okay, so you bring your own putter if you're coming.
Because I like throwing my putter. The point is we're making everyone tee off with the Wombat, and then after that you can throw your putter when you're putting.
Gotcha.
We wanted it to be fun for players and people to come out. And then if there's extra time, people can play the course multiple times. The Ace Place course probably takes about 90 minutes to finish in the dark. So, it's a nice time.
Yeah.
And that's if you're not registered as a player in the actual RIP event. You can come out as a spectator and join this event and be part of it, right?
Right. You can come out and play and have some fun. And I assume some of the pros will go out and play it. The other one is the next one you're going to pop up, I hope.
I'm gonna say, is it the player party that's happening?
No, come on, guys. The Crokinole tournament.
That's what I'm saying. The Crokinole tournament. Okay. Yeah.
So this is the Crokinole tournament's going to be. This is where it's going to be the most fun that night.
Gotcha.
This is where you want to be.
Yeah, we're trying to rope. We're going to try and rope it. You guys play Crokinole?
Of course. Are we Canadian?
Yeah, don't kid. Double checking there. You are from the West, so who knows?
All right.
So you might call it something else or what have you. So we've got Tracy boards, which makes the most beautiful Crokinole boards. Sorry, I'm going to just grab this thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see him rolling it over.
So,
and if you don't know what a Crokinole board is, you're going to have to come and watch the episode. Hey, Darrell?
Tracy boards makes the most beautiful Crokinole board. They're bomb-proof. They're not that a crappy tire where, it's kind of warps over time and stuff. So these stay solid. He makes them commercially, his family. Tracy Boards is just southwestern Ontario, a little north of Guelph. And he runs he basically kind of runs the World Crokinole Championships.
Oh, okay. Really?
He runs Crokinole tournaments straight time, like it's part of his gig. And it's Jeremy Tracy. He's a great fan of disc golf, plays a ton of disc golf. Plays really well, actually. He came second place in his division at the Foxwood Open. So
sweet.
He's he travels, he goes to the States and does these tournaments, does them across Ontario and Canada and the like. And so he's going to come here and host the Tracy Boards Crokinole tournament that night. He's bringing a dozen boards. We got room, I think, for whatever it says on the thing, 36 players or 40 players. It's a bit of a round robin, but we're hoping to coax a bunch of the pros to join in that night and pair up as teams. So we're hoping players will get a chance to play against some of the pros because it's, you'll rotate around and play a bunch of different people. And, there's a little modest cash prize for this. We're only charging $20 a team to get into the darn thing.
Cool.
This is a licensed venue. It's just going to be beers and hanging out and having some sandbaggers. Shout out Sandbaggers. Sandbaggers, one of our sponsors.
Okay.
So we're very happy about that.
Well, and I guess that's another thing about it. They're going to come out to Haute Goat, and now I'm getting hungry. You guys are you got food there? You got barbecue? What do you got going on that way?
We're going to have food. We're going to hopefully have food vendors out that evening. It's a full restaurant, so they'll just be frying up and cooking up stuff here as needed all night. We're going to have beer vendors and the like, or just be selling beer because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. That same night, the Saturday night, the Fly Mart will be going until later in the evening. So want to make a shout out here. We have Atlantic Disc Golf coming out.
Perfect.
They're making the tour from New Brunswick to set up a full shop here on the premises.
Wow.
And Diameter Apparel will be there with some stuff. We're going to have spots for the pros to hang out a little bit, sign some discs. Hopefully the pros will be bringing a bunch of their swag and selling some stuff. We do have space for a few more vendors to come out if anyone's interested. They could reach out to us and, check it out and see if they want to join in that. It's an easy vending site. We've rented a big sort of 40 by 60 foot circus tent type of thing, event tent. So that's being put on the crest of the hill overlooking the 9th hole in the first tee area. So all the players have to pass through it. All the spectators have to pass through the Fly Mart in order to get out to the course. So it's a pretty fun setup that we're used to setting things up like that here. So
we had some good tips from Nico last episode about how to work the Fly Mart, Jeremy.
Yes.
We got to get Nico out here doing the whole
the
trade up. See what he could do out at that Fly Mart.
Exactly.
Actually, Nico should be coming out. That'd be good.
Yeah, so, get him out there putting on a forehand clinic. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you,
pushing juniors and the whole junior program, and getting more people aware of that. So
Darrell, even to this day now, it's been a couple weeks, and we're still getting comments and messages about Nico and about how amazing and well spoken and wonderful it was to have on him. I'm drinking mango slushies before every round now, and
that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I could get into those.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other thing you did mention, so Innova is the main sponsor, and one of the things I wanted to bring up is that there's some Rip Proto Glow, and some Halo discs that are going to be available for sale with the stamp on them. And then I also saw that Diameter Apparel has some hoodies as well that look pretty cool that they've made.
Yeah, Diameter's making hoodies. So all the players will be getting, all the AMs will get a hoodie.
Nice.
Okay.
All signed up for that. They'll be getting one of those lovely hoodies. And like, we can only invest so much in the first year in merchandise and the like, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's a challenge. You know, it always feels risky putting another $2,000 into tubes, right? You know, anytime you do it, you're like, really? I bought $2,000 for the bucket hats again? So we'll have some stuff available, but what we're really counting on is the vendors to come in and have some good opportunity to sell some stuff. So, you know, there's a good chance the Innova Mobile Ops crew will be up here for this one too.
Okay.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with what they run through the States with. So
No.
we're finalizing that. So this could be pretty spectacular, you know, pretty special, just showing all the people that, you know, we can pull it off up here. Come up to Canada, run an event.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
So,
well, Darrell, also when we talked about it and we were saying the number of spots and that there's 160, but not all of them have names written down in them yet. When I look, does that mean that there could be a few more surprises coming our way?
I think there could be a few more surprises. Really, the spots are being saved because it's a new event, right? Nobody knows about it. Well, now that Paige Pierce is coming, now that Philo's coming, Jeremy Polling's coming, Gannonberg, the Robinsons, you know, Babcock, Harris.
Now that it's on Chain Out Podcast. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
Like, someone should just be going, oh, well, I got nothing really else to do. I was planning to just take the week off.
Yeah.
Why don't I come and join it? Because we really want the touring pros to come up and participate. But given that, I'm a TD. You know, I've got an MA1 wait list right now that's 20 players long.
Okay.
Right. And I feel guilty about having these guys hanging out on the MA1 wait list. And many of them have probably already planned something else with their lives now, kind of going, Darrell's never going to send me the promoted, you know, that little promoted thing out off of the disc golf scene page.
Yeah.
But pretty soon I'm just going to go, you know what? It's just got to go. Right.
Yeah.
I'd rather have 4 more MA1 players come out that are really enjoying it or something like that have been waiting on the wait list and give them a chance to come play soon. So, you know, but the goal really is to run a top tier pro event.
Yeah.
Right.
For a first year effort, we're kind of doing pretty good. I mean,
we
got a bunch of great players coming. We got the Disc Golf Pro Tour. You know, they're not coming with the full road show, but they're paying attention. You know, I'm bugging them enough.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to get some more players to come out and, you know, I reach out direct and go, hey, can you send an email to all your card holding players and tell them that the RIP exists? Like that's the only way to do this is just to keep shouting about it, you know?
That's
So we're trying.
Well, an exciting thing too, Darrell, as we start to wrap this up, this part of the conversation was that we did the Foxwood Open recap there, and we're trying to do that for all the A tiers. So we'll be doing Nationals, we'll be doing Falcons Flight. We want to do the RIP as well, and we're quite excited to try and hopefully, you know, maybe Gannon wins it. Maybe we get to talk to them and just keep giving more and more promotion to these Canadian events the way it is. Now, for me, on the list that I've got here, I think I've hit everything I had. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on the RIP, aside from the fact that if you're not going and you're in Ontario or you're a quick flight away, you should be signing up, getting your spectator pass right now and getting ready to head out there?
I really hope people do come. I hope they come support this. This is a big risk we're all taking here. You know, we'd love to be able to continue building this and, you know, providing opportunities for this in this part of the world. You know, really what this is, you know, it's a stepping stone where maybe it's not a Disc Golf Pro Tour event next year, but we all know that the PDGA is hoping that some of their bigger events start migrating out of the US and you start putting different parts of the country into a spot or putting enough light on all the good disc golf going on across Canada that really there's no reason we shouldn't be trying to host one of the AM World events or Am Masters or, Masters World or something, right? All these
Yeah.
events
Oh,
are out
yeah.
there needing to broaden their horizons. And Canada is very close to being able to host these perfectly well,
Yeah.
So
We agree
looking forward to
100%.
And this is just the first stepping stone in that evolution.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, we got to just keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Darrell, we're going to move on to a part that Darrell, the co-host, holds really close to his heart. So I'm going to try and be quiet a bit and let him take the show.
Okay.
It's okay. You can carry on, Jeremy. I'm enjoying listening to everyone that's been talking. So, we have to, while we've got you on here, obviously you're sporting the jersey. We have to talk to you about your participation in Innova as well. You're in charge of the business development for Innova Canada. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
You got to put something on a business card. And since for the longest time I was the only person working in Canada, I kind of, I just went, "Hey, should I just put this on the card?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Right. So, there's a lot of us working on what goes on in Canada, from all aspects, whether it's, I've got a fair bit of hands, I'm on the ground here in this part of the country doing a lot of course development, trying to host some of these events. I do some connections with dealers and the like, but in the U.S. offices, there's all kinds of the sales reps that are dealing with different parts of the country and dealing with people in Canada. Clearly that's changing a little bit right now, and we can touch on that too. But we've got the people in the States that are, working with the big box stores. The fact that you can now get Innova products at Canadian Tire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's going to be probably more of that coming down the line where, Innova has been a staple in the big box stores in the US. Like, it's not unheard of. You go into Dick's, you go into Walmart, you go into Ace Hardware,
Right.
all the Play It Again Sports. Play It Again Sports is big in Canada, but in the States, it's huge.
Yeah.
Right. And, it's not quite a big box store, but it's a big franchise store. And so, Innova having, for product to be available, the type of products that we do put into those stores available to new players and to new people just discovering disc golf, it's a good thing. There is some competition, but that's just the order of things, the way things happen. So
Yeah. While we're mentioning about the stores there, we may as well go to the chat because we have a question from Brock Giacchetti, who I think is, as you probably know, he's messaged you a few times. I think. Yeah. He had a question here. Does the new Innova Canada store change how us Western Canadians deal with Innova for club and tournament stuff? Obviously, with the acquisition of
Ace Runners.
So we're still ironing out all the fine points of how it's all what roles it will be taking on. But in an ideal world, the sponsorship requirements that all the TDs and all the event operators have, would be able to stay domestically and be able to offer the exact same thing. So the goal of Innova, of the new Innova Disc Golf Canada, based out of, Langley, out of British Columbia, that, was, the former Ace Runners, that was the acquisition, and that provided the landscape, the infrastructure to instantly start up this thing.
Yeah.
And John Gouldthorpe is running that and running full tilt with that and creating the websites and all the stuff that has to go with it. And that's all coming along well. So, but the goal is really, this new structure creates the ability to just kind of erase the border. So,
Right.
where we now can purchase product in Canada, it gets into Canada at a very comparable rate because we now have the infrastructure and the location to bring it into Canada and to service Canada more efficiently from a Canadian location. Because that's always been the trouble with Innova and every other disc golf manufacturer.
Yeah.
Obviously, except for Daredevil. But for all the ones that are based in the States or in Europe, is obviously just crossing the border has a baseline expense associated with running a big business. So we're hoping to alleviate some of that as staff and demand requires. The thing is, we have great staff spread across the US that are familiar with dealing with all the sponsorship. And, you know, some of it's come to me in Canada where I've helped out, like, you know, and I help out how I can, or at least push it to the right people, keep it up front, keep knocking on the hood of the car so that someone pays attention. You know, that we need support for this event up here, and we should keep trying to grow. So those roles will still continue, but I think as it evolves and as the market grows and the amount of players up in Canada, you know, yes, in an ideal world, you'd have a dedicated sponsorship person that focuses on Canadian things, and it gets approached as a Canadian content,
right?
Like our old school CanCon, like it needs to have a Canadian feel to it. You know, but the same stuff you put in a player pack in the States doesn't necessarily have to show up in Canada. Maybe we should be doing more toques, you know, because we're in Canada, you know, as a cheesy concept. So
yes,
no, absolutely,
all that is still being ironed out, but it's all coming together really smoothly and nicely. So
watch this space, I think, is the answer there, Brock.
Yes.
And as we speak about Canada and Canadian disc golf and people representing Innova, what better way than the start of this year with players such as Sophia Donica and Rebecca Dawn just doing amazing things. You know, Sophia obviously winning tournaments, being promoted to the champ team, and then Rebecca Dawn having a great junior worlds down in Oklahoma this year as well.
Like, what are your thoughts, Darrell, on all of this? Like, to me, I'm like, you're saying, okay, Innova Canada's got the Rip going. That's promoting Innova. You've got the new store. You got these two FPO Canadians just ripping it up. Like, everything is going thumbs up for Innova right now.
Yeah, and don't forget the same weekend as the Rip, we've also got Nationals going.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
which is Innova.
Jeremy will be there,
right? So, you know, it's Innova month in this September. You know, and we're gonna have our players featured across the country playing hard. You know, there's gonna be a bunch of other Canadians out there competing in all these great events. So, you know, that's just perfect. You know, I was thrilled this year with the amount of players we were able to commit to joining Team Innova, whether it was in the ambassador positions or the pro player positions or the junior player positions, right? Because we added two juniors. I might be forgetting one, 2 juniors. I think we added 5 ambassadors at least as of in January. And then we added a few more pro players like Sophia and a couple others that we were scouting and people that. So I think in January we added 10 different people to Team Innova in Canada, which has been the biggest jump we've had in years. You know, putting them on bit by bit, but you know, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. We worked hard on that to convince everyone that it's worthwhile, that it was needed. We've still got a couple of holes across the country we'd love to fill. But you know, it's all just a matter of time. You know, clearly Innova's making investments across Canada. So,
well, and I'll tell you, Darrell, that it is actually working because, you know, after we had Nico on, after we had Sophia on, after we had Rebecca on, it's starting to affect Darrell over here because I think he went from having a very mixed bag to, I think, almost your whole cart is Innova now. Is it, Darrell?
It's all Innova.
And I figured we've got Darrell here, so maybe there's those few holes you need. Maybe he can help you fill them.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that like we were talking about the big box stores or being able to touch plastic. You know, people wonder why we buy so many discs, you know, as disc golfers, unless you've got a store that you can go and pick up the plastic and feel what it feels like in your hand. If you're ordering from the pro shop or you're ordering from Ace Runners or Disc Republic or wherever it might be, BR Disc Golf, you know, you've got no way of knowing whether that putter will feel good in your hand. So a putter slot is what I'm looking for right now. I just got the AVR X3, but it's in premium plastic, and people were looking at me crazy because I went out onto the course and I was putting with the premium putter.
Okay, so do you like a beaded putter?
I like currently I putt with pixels, so there's like a micro bead.
Okay, so
I have a DX AVR, which I've got one of those starter packs.
that's not a beaded putter. I like a beaded putter.
Okay.
Okay.
I like something with a little more tact to it.
Yeah.
So I throw the JK AVRs.
Okay.
Yeah, the Juliana
Corber,
or the
yeah.
AVR X. They kind of get labeled sort of. Those are my go-to putters, and every time I do a custom order, I'll just add 5. Them perpetually.
Okay.
But a lot of people love the Invader.
Yeah. Rebecca Dunn throws the Invader.
Narrow profile, which might match the Pixel more, if that's what
Okay.
you're used to.
Yeah.
And I think what's laying over there. I don't know what else. What else was recent? But anyways, we make too many discs. So
Yeah. Well, and speaking of the discs you guys make, we were just at the Alberta Hospital fundraiser tournament in Edmonton. That was at our course, Niska-Pisquak. And that one was Innova sponsored, Edga promoted, Edmonton Disc Golf Association. And I got to show it. I know that some people are listening, they're not going to see it, but we got some wicked discs with this stamp. And I don't know if you even got a chance to touch them, but like here's Leopard 3 with the Niska-Pisquak stamp.
Is that the color glow Leopard 3?
It does.
Yeah.
It glows.
Yeah, it
and I
is.
didn't even know it glowed.
Glow. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got those.
They're the same as that. So yeah, that plastic.
Yeah. And then the other one we got was, here's one of the more of the Halo ones.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So these were just great, like great stamps, great colors, fantastic. So anybody looking to promote an event with Innova, you're going to get great product.
Yeah, those all came out of the West Coast office. They were stamped out of West Coast, I believe, this time. And because depending where you are, we kind of ship where it's most efficient from.
Right.
Until we get a hot stamp machine in BC or something. But it still makes sense just to keep it at the main offices for that item. But those
shout out for the West office then. That's probably where the Sophia disc.
Yes,
the
Sophia J.
Yes, because those are definitely coming out of factory store West Coast.
Yeah.
So all the Tour Series discs roll out of the factory store in the West Coast office.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's really special that the mobile ops vehicle is probably coming to the RIP.
Right.
It's stocked by the West Coast Pro Shop and the West Coast inventory and the Tour Series stuff. So it's a chance to have Tour Series floating around the country.
Right.
And for players to touch it. So that's going to be a fun little addition.
So long story short, Jeremy, I need to buy more Innova.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
That's the Gorgon?
Gorgon.
I haven't thrown one. No, I was thinking about getting it. I've seen, Miles Ladder. He's obviously just got promoted to the educator for Innova there. If people that don't know, follow Miles on Monday. He does the new mold Mondays. He just did a review of the Gorgon. Don't try and convince me, Darrell, because I'll go out and buy one.
You probably already have one in a cart somewhere, don't you, Darrell, online?
I put in my bag in ages.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It goes forever. Super fun to throw. Nice, it's a smaller rim disc, only 10 speed.
Yeah.
So I would be, you won't be unhappy if you throw a Gorgon in your bag.
All right.
Okay.
170, 168.
Yeah.
And,
Have you had a chance to? I mean, we're going to talk about Innova. What's that? Sorry.
This Protostar one, if you're really nice.
Ooh.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, we're talking about. Sorry. While we're talking about this, have you had a chance, or have you looked at the new Star Racer?
No, not
Okay.
yet. But it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're new. They're out there.
That might be a treat coming to the RIP.
Well, Darrell, I didn't want to. I do have to cut it off at one point. Otherwise, I know Darrell will talk about Innova all night long. But there's one more spot I want to move us on to before we kind of get into the wrap up mode. And that's, you also are the owner of Tin Lid Disc Golf, the president, and you design disc golf, another title, right?
That's another business card.
President, worker, cleaner.
You're David.
Yeah, that's it. Financer. Yeah, that's me.
Exactly. And you've designed a ton of disc golf courses in Ontario, but closer to us, you designed the Stone Creek course out in Fort McMurray, which is a great course that I've played.
Oh,
You
good.
also designed a course in Hawaii.
Yeah.
What's next with Tinlid? You got some projects on the go, or are we going to see anything out here?
The Innova Rip has been the project that's been on the go, and really just pretty much all consuming.
Yeah.
I've got a little ace place I've got to do this fall, little 9-hole course. That's going to happen near north of Guelph, Stratford area, anyways, down there. They're, I think they just finished up did you ever play the 9-hole course downtown, the Lions Park in Fort McMurray?
When I was up there, I didn't play it, but I'm well aware of it because it has the overpass and it throws around. It's got the really cool, almost graffiti murals and that type of thing.
So that one just got rebuilt.
Okay.
They asked me to do a redesign on that. As the park evolved, it needed to be, it just needed to be tightened up, and the park's gotten very busy. So the course had to move a little more to the periphery. So we really shortened it up and made it now that they have that Stone Creek property, which is one of the biggest investments in disc golf that's, happened in a municipality across Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They really put out the effort onto that course. It's a great AM1 and below level, competitive course with 2 layouts. So since they now have that great course in town, it took the pressure off of what happened downtown at that other course. So it's been converted into more of an ace place, 200 feet and less style course with 9 baskets reconfigured. But that wall you're talking about is one of the key features of the course. I specifically designed one hole that you can throw it, and if you throw it right, you can roll it along the curved wall.
Sweet.
And through flight goes under the underpass and then dives into the basket off the wall.
Wow.
That's what the hole was designed for.
That's social media hole right there.
Photo op in front of this gorgeous wall that is one of the nicest, bit of public art you'll find in that sort of scale. It's 120, 150 feet of mural that's 40, 50 feet tall of bears and northern lights and everything. So,
and last year when I went up for the tournament, they took that same picture and they put that on a pair of T-box socks for everybody. So I've got a pair of socks with that bear mural on it, which is just an awesome players pack item that they did last year. And their tournament's actually this weekend again.
One of these years I'm going to make it. Next year I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. Well, when you get out here, make sure to let us know. We'll connect you with some courses and some people for sure.
I was just out there recently. So
okay, great.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good reason to go. My brother died a couple of weeks ago, and I was out in Rosslyn, BC for
gotcha.
about 2 weeks. So I was out there, and I was thinking about you guys. I did get to play the Rosslyn course though.
Okay.
So Thin Air up in
that one I haven't played yet. So was that one a good one?
You should play Thin Air up in Rosslyn, BC.
Okay.
Gorgeous mountain course. So
it's like every time
mountain, so lovely spot. So.
It's like every time Darrell comes on, we add another course to the list that we have to get out and play. But that's always a good thing.
It was a top 10 list, then it went to top 50. We're now working on top 100. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, Darrell, we're going to wrap up, but we talked about it. You designed a course on an island in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So you might be quite familiar with what's coming next and what you might do. Hey, Darrell?
You're so good at this, Jeremy.
Now it's time for desert island discs. Picture this. You've taken a relaxing cruise, however the ship goes down. You manage to swim to an island, and fortunately for you, there's an 18-hole disc golf course. Which 3 discs are you taking with you on the island?
There you go. That's the premise of the segment.
Okay.
You got your trusty bag with you. You got your 3 discs that you would never leave home without.
Yes. That I can't go without. I'm going to take a rat.
Okay.
It's not going to be a big course.
Right.
All right.
You can putt with a rat. So
I've never heard of a rat. So
Oh,
Yeah.
You should try that one too. Go get one.
Okay.
I can send you one. $20.
There you go.
And what am I going to take out on a desert island? Something that's going to.
We used to say putter, mid range, and driver, but
but whatever you
people
like.
people can throw whatever they want.
So I'm going to take a driver. I'm so enamored with it. I'm going to take a Gorgon with me.
Right?
Sweet.
It must be good.
You're going to hate me, but I'm taking a Makani with me.
A Makani?
A Makani
I don't even think I've heard of that one.
PDGA sanctioned throw disc.
Right. I was just going to say that doesn't look like a.
It's a catch disc, but it's PDGA sanctioned. I thought you were going to ask me if I only could take one disc.
Okay.
I only could take one disc. If I had to throw away every disc on the planet, never play with anything but
This is going to be a surprise.
It's going to be a Makani.
Really?
Yeah, it's way more fun than disc golf. So you take that out to the beach and you throw it into the wind and you just stand there because I'm on the desert island, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Standing on the beach, throwing a disc straight in the airplane by myself.
So a rat, a Makani, and a Gorgon.
In a Gorgon.
I'm pretty confident that we've never had that combination of discs before, Jeremy.
No, we have not.
So, perfect warm-up disc too. So.
Yeah, and it sounds like it fits, Darrell, kind of like what's happened in history, even in Hawaii. Someone shows up on an island and they bring rats with them, and then
and then you need some snake-headed figure to come and deal with the rats.
Come to deal with the rats, exactly. You know what it's like. Well, that's fantastic. Now, Darrell, that's kind of all the questions that we had for you, but we don't want to let you go without giving you an opportunity in case there's anything we missed or anything else you wanted to shout out before we let you go.
I don't think so. I mean, I just love it if a ton of people came out and spectated for all these great players that are making the effort to come up to Canada. I got to thank the Disc Golf Pro Tour for giving us a chance to host this event and give it the, it gives it the momentum, the scale that helps attract some of these players. And, that's really what it's about. It's a chance for a ton of people to come out and see some great players in Canada and really try and convince them that it's worth coming back. So we need people to host them, have some fun. We're looking for some volunteers to come out and help at the event. There's going to be, the usual typical volunteer things. We need spotters.
Right.
You need people hanging out and, we'll try and make that. So that's about it. I mean, this is just, we've put a ton of effort into this. We got a lot of people working hard on the course, volunteers, people stepping up. So it's definitely a good time. So.
Well, we're excited for the event and we can't wait to see the coverage of it. I will be at Nationals, so I'll be peeking in through social media and that to see what's going on that event for sure.
I'm not going to lie. There is a little part of me that's trying to figure out and see if I can work things out and try and move money around or whatever the case may be. But it's definitely, I mean, you had me sold on Jeremy Colling. He's one of my favorite players. I love watching him. I love his commentary. I love everything about him.
Well, he's super on site. Like,
a
few times I met him at events and stuff. It's like, man, that's a pro.
Yeah.
And in that way too, Chain Out could be truly representing the Canadian A tiers. We'd have one of us in the West, one of us in the East, and
you can come out. We'll set up a little podcast booth up on the hill. There's a couple local podcasts in the, the Toronto, Ontario area that I think that they might drop in and try and sucker someone in to do an interview. So we'd be happy to figure out a way to make it happen.
I can be mobile.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we'll have to think about that. Hey, Darrell, for sure. And the other thing too, what we like to do after these episodes is we'll cut together some reels for the next few days and we'll make sure to put some stuff out there about the Innova Rip. So anyone who doesn't watch the whole show at least is going to get some more information on social media there as well.
All right. That's always appreciated. Thank you.
And maybe just give the MPO and the FPO winners a nod that they might be getting an email from us.
Yeah, there you go.
We will be emailing them directly and, asking them, what we can do for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
To try and make this a little bit better for them specifically. And, putting in those requests, go, look, you might get hit up by a couple Canucks bugging you to, show up on a little podcast here in Canada. Like, please come out and give them 20 minutes of your evening.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
For those ones there, maybe what we'll do too, Darrell, is we'll get some toques and maybe some flannel and really just Bob and Doug McKenzie it for them so they won't know.
I won't even try to make the noise. All right.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks so much for joining us. It's been awesome to have you on, and we can't wait to talk to you again after the event there.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
Awesome. Thanks, Darrell.
You too.
Bye. Here you go.
Okay. Got the little red button there.
Yeah, there you go. And
There you
Darrell,
go.
man, it was great when we talked to him about the Foxwood Open, and I knew there was a lot of information about the Innova Rip, and we just tapped into it in that interview. But now, like, I'm going to love being at Nationals because Nationals is a huge event. But now we've got like two major, big, huge events happening in Canada on the same weekend, both sides of the country.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. And I wasn't just giving him lip service or whatever you want to say. There is a part of me that's like, I would love to go out there. I would love to see these pros play.
Wow, and he's
I'd love
just
to
giving
take
you
in the
the
course
invite.
and get a free pass to go back out. I know there's a free invite there not a free invite, but
But there is an invite on the table. I'm sure there's going to be room in that tent for you to set up our mobile studio.
Not even that. Obviously that would be the dream. Like you say, being able to represent the West Coast and interview and get some names and get some interviews, even some clips or whatever. But just to go out there and be a spectator. That's when, like we've said, when are we going to get a chance to see touring professionals come up and play, in such volume? Obviously, we had Chandler Fry on previously from the other from the BC Open, but to see that many pros play a great course, it sounds like it's going to be a challenging course for them. Not too challenging, but yeah, I'm thinking about it.
All right.
So
well, Darrell, what do we always say?
See if I can find a good deal.
Yeah, I can help you. I've flown out there a few times. We can get you a flare flight or something like that on a deal.
There you go.
What do we always say at this point, Darrell? There's got to be something we got to say right now.
There's something that you always say, Jeremy, but I will take over this one. I'm going to say, if you like what you hear, please subscribe. If you're listening back on Spotify, Apple, please rate and review. It helps us a great deal. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe.
That's it. Please.
That's pretty much it.
No, I'm not going to beg.
No, we're not going to beg. But if you do want to follow us on Instagram, _podcast, all other
Everywhere
social
else.
media, Chain Out Podcast.
Yeah. So catch us there. Start thinking of a secret word. I already see a couple in the comments. So we'll get to that towards the end. Lost Egg just happened over the weekend, Darrell, down in Wayne, Alberta. And for people not familiar, that's in the Drumheller area. We've talked about it on the show before, right? It's a course. It's a tonal course in the hoodoos outside of a ghost town with a saloon that still has bullet holes in it from the 1900s or something like that. You cross 13 or so one-way bridges just to get to the place. Like, this is an event that, even if you're not a fan of tonal courses, this is probably one that's a once in a lifetime type experience. And we might take it for granted being in the West.
Yeah.
But we didn't get down there. But when I was looking at the pictures on social media, I think it was a pretty good one to attend.
Yeah. Everybody's every event everybody participates in, they always make it look good on social media, but everything that we've seen, we've been told before, it's got to be on your bucket list to play this course. We previously had Jordan Alway on the podcast. He mentioned it there about the tonals. The actual course itself, like we've mentioned, watch your putts and things like that, because if you're a little bit long, then you could be, there's certain places on the course where you're advised not to go get your disc, just leave it. You've lost it.
Well, Darrell's, do you remember Jordan kind of had us almost in fear? He was like, he had to put up nets in certain areas because if you did try to get your disc, like, you were risking your life off some of these hoodoos, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And just being in the hoodoos, like, that's an environment that you're not going to see anywhere else in Canada, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, and not only was the Lost Egg B tier tournament, I think it was a 3-day B tier, The other thing about it was it's part of the Cold Garden Cup tour that Jordan always putting on this year as well.
Yeah.
So
We haven't got an update on that. Obviously, Jordan's been busy with the Limber Open. That was part of the Cold Garden Cup as well.
Yeah.
Lost Egg. Once we get the updated standings, we'll give everybody an update on who is where. But at last count, we knew that Terry Hong was 1 point behind the lead.
Yeah, that's right.
But we may as well get to the winners.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we we'll talk about some of the winners here. There is a lot of different divisions in this tournament.
Mhm.
The first two we want to give a little bit more attention to, and then we'll just hammer through them if that works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So MPO winner was none other than Edmontonian. You've heard him on the Edga #1 tag update before.
Yeah,
Sean
a few times.
Heidebrecht. Yeah, a few times for sure.
Yeah, but he didn't win it outright. He won it after a playoff with Conor McLeod.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were 3 back. I think you mentioned Sean reached out to you, or you reached out to Sean, that he was 3 shots back after
with
6 holes to
left
play.
to go. Yeah.
He tied it up after 17 holes.
Yeah.
So 18, they both parred. So they ended up tied.
That's right.
Went to a playoff. They both birdied the first playoff hole. And one thing that you were not aware of, and I don't think I knew about it, but I wasn't too sure about it, that after a playoff, whoever tees off first on the first playoff hole, on the second hole, it's switched. So regardless of who wins or loses, the person teeing off is opposite to whoever teed off on the first hole.
It makes sense, but I didn't know that until he told me.
Right. So, yeah. You want to give us a rundown of the second playoff hole?
So, Connell starts and he throws that one. And his throw's slightly wayward. It's not quite as good as it was on the first hole. But then Sean, on the first playoff hole, he puts it 25 feet out. Second playoff hole, 25 feet out from the tonal again. So then Connell's now got the pressure because he's the first one to putt. He misses his putt. And now Sean's like, this putt is for the win. Yeah. And I could just, in the way he was typing it, like I could almost feel the experience. So he's a guy we're going to have on the show at some point, because just even in the fact that he had me intrigued by the way he typed out the message. But he said, I told myself, just go through your normal putt routine. He started taking some deep breaths, following everything he normally would. Bam, 25-footer, takes it down, gets the win.
There you go.
And we've got a Edmontonian MPO.
Yeah. And then staying on that theme, we kind of teased it there a little bit, but on the FPO side, another Edmontonian taking down the win, Terry Hong taking down the win, with Zoe Lorenz-Bozer coming up in second place as well. So
Look at all these friends of the show.
Exactly. I think there's a theme here, Jeremy.
Yeah.
We need to get Sean on the show, because it seems like if you come on the show, you're going to win things.
That's right. So even if your name is mentioned in an Edga #1 tag update, apparently the luck still works that way.
There you go.
So I would say with Terry winning and the way the points go, Jody, who is in first place in the Cold Garden Cup, she didn't play in the tournament, and I don't think she played over the weekend. Right. So Terry's definitely got more than 1 point. So she's holding the first place down. Yeah. We don't know about the other on the MPO side, but definitely on the FPO side, Terry's jumped up and taken the lead.
Yeah. And like we said, once we know the score standings, we'll give you an update.
Yeah.
But like we said, there was a lot of divisions. So we just want to quickly run through all the divisions to give everybody their 15 minutes of fame. You want to start? You want me to start?
I can start. So we've got Chris Pereira from Calgary, won MP40.
MP50, Brandon Walters from Calgary taking down the win.
Yeah. And then Howie Meeker from Calgary won MP60. I believe he's a big part of Falcon's flight.
Yeah. Chad Baker from Calgary won the MA1 division, and we kind of we have some experience with him. He was a caddy for one of the players on our card down at Lethbridge, and he has a wicked overhand throw.
Oh yeah, he does for sure. Itai Ultman from Vancouver won MA40. Now that's someone we haven't run into yet. I hadn't seen that name before.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him on any of our cards or in our divisions when we've been playing. A name that I am familiar with, Tracy St. Jean, takes down another win. She's from Hinton. She took down the FA40 division.
That's right. And Wally O'Volley from Edmonton won MA50. Wally's 100's coming up. We're both going to that.
Yeah.
Want to talk to that guy sometime soon too, if we can.
Yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing there. Trevor Metcalf from Calgary. Oh, sorry, I missed one. Russell Duke from Heritage Point. He took down the MA60 division.
Trevor Metcalf from Calgary won MA2.
Sarah Mitchell from Winnipeg takes down FA2.
Jobran Wiedis from Medicine Hat won MA3.
Pamela McFarlane from Regina. She won FA3.
And then Kieran Anderson from Calgary won MJ18. So congrats to all the winners of that tournament.
Yeah, and then next up for the Coal Garden Cup, like you said, this weekend is the Oil Sands Open up in Fort McMurray.
Yeah, I was hoping to get up there. I didn't make it up there this year, but that gave me the opportunity that I'll get to play Gabe's event. So, everybody who's playing up at the Oil Sands, have a good one. That's a fantastic event. You guys do it right up there. Great courses. Have a good time. That's what I got to say.
There you go.
So what do you think, Darrell?
I think a lot of things, Jeremy. One thing that we tried to start on the podcast or on Instagram last week, but we didn't really put anything into it. But one thing that we're going to give it a shout out again, one thing we're trying to do, Mondays be like bad things. Bad things happen on Mondays. So we're trying to start chain out Mondays. I know it doesn't really ring, but everybody records.
We're cool.
Yeah, everybody records themselves driving and their rounds, right? Everyone does that. Everyone's got a little tripod that they carry with them, and they set their phone up and they do that, or is it just us?
It might be just us.
Us and Gavin. Yeah. But if you record yourself, or if you record anybody else putting and they chain out, and it's a bad chain out, well, it doesn't have to be a bad chain out to start with, but if you do have any recordings of yourself chaining out, upload them to social media and tag chainout_podcast. And then we're going to try and do a thing where we put them all together, and we'll have like chain out Mondays, and we will do that, and we'll try and get that started, and that'll be a little bit of a fun thing that we can put out, and to get more community involvement.
Definitely. And I think, you know what, when we were out at Rundle last week on Thursday for league night, the card that we played on, I think had we been recording, we would have had, people would have thought it was staged, the number of chain outs that our card had that night. And Gavin was on our card as well, and he was part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? We went out on the weekend, like we said, we went to Wetaskiwin. So we had it was a quiet course. I think we were the only ones on there for the first 9 or 10 holes. Yeah. We had our cameras out. We were filming each other. And it was either dead center chains and it was just dropping in the basket, or they were air bowls and they were not even making a sound. So, when you don't record, that's when you throw your ace shots and your great drives and your chain outs. As soon as you turn it on, it's never what you want. But the more you turn on your phone and you record yourself, the greater chance we have of recording something. That's where we're going.
Yeah. Now, Darrell, when we do a course review, what do we take? Do we take about 15 minutes or so?
You want to go for it? You want to rip through it?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know if we should save it or what.
I think we should save it. I don't think we should push it fast just to do it,
because it is a great course.
Yeah, we will be doing a walkthrough, a course review of Wetaskiwin as part of our Chain Out podcast course review section.
And I guess what we could do is maybe leave a couple teasers and lead-ins that this is a course that you're going to want to hear about. If you've never been down there to play it, you're going to want to make time. If you've gone up to Wildman, which is another great course at the north side of the city, it really, like if you live central Edmonton, it's probably not that much further to get to the Wetaskiwin course, right? Whether you're going north to Wildman, south to there, probably even west to Stony Plain. Maybe that's a bit closer. But Wetaskiwin, people think, oh yeah, it's so far away. It's not that far away. And if you're playing Falcons Flight, you should get down to Wetaskiwin to do some practice. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. We had some crazy experiences. I agree with everything you said.
Yeah. Stay tuned next episode or whenever we get that in there again, because we know you like the course reviews. We'll put that in there. But let's wrap this show up with the DGPT pros, Disc Golf Pro Tour pros. The Canadians, what are they up to?
So we'll start, as always, with Thomas Gilbert. He's traveling back to North America from his European stint there. He's next up will be at LWS Open at Idlewild.
Yeah. And then Max Rajitnik, who you actually were talking about early when we were talking about Fritjof. And he was Fritjof. He was 46th at the Järva Open in Sweden. And you give me a hard time about that. But again, I found that my pronunciations are pretty darn close. So I will continue to pronounce them in that way.
Are you sure it's not Sweden?
Well, it could be. It could be. But next up for Max is the Swedish Championships, which are happening this weekend.
Sophia Donica, she's over there enjoying Europe. She's been posting a lot of cool pictures from her adventure. I know she's going back to her hometown village there in Germany, I believe. Next up for her, you'll get to see her because she'll be out at Nationals.
Yeah, and we were talking before the show is that you have that J that you showed earlier.
I do, yeah.
You know, maybe if you want to send it with me, maybe I can get Sophia to sign it for you.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
There you go. I would probably win some brownie points with my co-host, I think. And then we've got Chantal Badinsky, who placed 21st at Ledgestone, which was the last cash position. Mm-hmm. She made herself $708 and she was tied with Erica Stinchcombe and Emma Arp. And then her next tournament up is also Idlewild, which of course is this weekend.
Yeah. That was your DGPT Pro Roundup.
Yeah. So that leaves us down to questions, which, as always, we don't have any questions for us.
Does anybody have any questions for us? Quickly stick them in the chat.
Yeah, but we did get questions for the guests. So that was a bonus because that hasn't happened in a while either.
Yeah. Thanks, Dylan. Not Dylan. Sorry, Brock.
Yeah.
Dylan says, hole 3 at Wetaskiwin is such an evil hole. I think we can all agree that that's, when you hit that sweet gap, it fills your heart with joy and everything like that because it's such a hard hole. Like you said, it's an evil hole.
Well, and when
you're just hoping to get halfway down in the middle and then throw it again halfway down to the basket. And then hopefully you can walk away with a par.
Well, and some people talk about hitting first available, but it feels like on that hole, it's like the first 100 available is what it is. And that's the left side. And then the other 100 available on the right side. Yeah. But, with that, what I'm thinking is that I'm seeing what Dylan said. He says, looking forward to the video, guys.
I know.
So you know what that means. We might have to make our way down there and do another Rundle Park style course review. As opposed to do the walkthrough, not just a review on the podcast.
Yeah. We have a question, Jeremy.
Okay, go for it.
Let me hit you with it. It's a pretty simple, quick question.
Yep.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel. And I will say one of the things that seals that up for me with my quick answer I gave you is I just went to see Wolverine and Deadpool.
Okay.
And loved every minute of it.
I haven't gone to see it yet. I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah. I still give DC love, but Marvel. What about you?
The Olympics. Sorry. Something else that I don't care about. Unfortunately, Dylan, I won't be going tomorrow because I'm injured, but I don't know. Dylan's putting the number 1 tag up. We know who has the number 1 tag. Well, we thought we did.
Mr. Newman?
It was Mr. Newman. Does he still have the number 1 tag, Dylan? Or
yeah, I thought Uncle.
Because I know you would have played with him, so maybe Dylan took it off him.
Well, either way, Dylan, if I can get out there when you and Uncle Steve are out there, I'd be happy to play with you guys for the number 1 tag.
Oh man, that's making me think that I want to go play now.
Yeah, well, maybe
I'm trying to rest my shoulder because I am actually carrying a little bit of an injury.
Yeah.
And I want to be good for Wally's. I know that's in 2 weeks' time.
Yes. And Hidden Gem, or not Hidden Gem, but Rocky Fairways, where you played already at the Hidden Gem. Yeah. You know what you're getting into at that course. And it's a great course. There's a couple long pulls on it. So you want to make sure your shoulder's ready for it.
Maybe I can go. Oh, Dylan has number 1 tag.
Dylan has it. Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to come out of injury status to come and play,
it might as well be for the number 1 tag.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm thinking there might be a chance that I might actually get it. Well, this is how ridiculous the mindset of an amateur golfer is.
Yes. You know what? I'll
I
just
think I might
use
have a
my
chance
talkative
here.
voice here, and
Yeah.
I'll just talk Dylan's ear off. We know that'll distract him, and then maybe you can throw a better game.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Now, what did we
Okay.
have for secret word as we wrap things up? I saw one suggestion.
We have 2 secret words. We have hashtag Innova Rip,
Yep.
and I think that's meant to be crokinole.
No, it's not. You know what that is? That's not
Cro-
crokinole. That's
What the heck is that?
Oh my gosh, guys, can you believe it? Darrell doesn't know what that is.
Have you not? We didn't mention. You never said that.
Darrel Bankes almost said it because we talked about having toques on and flannel to be
Right.
Bob and Doug McKenzie. So Bob and Doug McKenzie was Rick Moranis was one of the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did that. And one of the things they did was it was the Great White North, and they go cuckoo.
Well, okay, I do remember that, but I thought it was something that we said in the episode.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
not. But crokinole would be a good one.
That's what I thought that was meant to be. Okay.
Yeah. So
No, see, now I'm getting hate in the chat now. Okay, not hate.
I was gonna say you love being the bad guy anyways when it comes down to it.
Do you know what, Jeremy?
I value your opinion, but you're wrong.
It's been like at least 6 episodes since that came out.
More than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I just thought it was something to do with the episode, and in my mind it was crokinole, and I thought Sonia didn't spell it correctly, and I thought that's what she's meant to say. But now I get it.
Yeah.
Stand corrected. Let's do that word.
So that's the word?
Yeah.
All right. Secret word is
Well,
Go
we
ahead,
can do
Darrell,
the
your
2.
turn.
We can do the no, it's okay. We can do the Innova Rip and the
which?
the other word.
Could you do it
See,
with a British?
Darrell
Could you do it with a
stick
British
together.
accent for me?
Darrell's stick together.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, Darrell,
We good?
we're good.
Okay.
You know,
Thank
tomorrow
you, everybody. Yeah.
I'm gonna head out to Rundle Park.
Tell me what's going to happen when you head out. So just on that,
Yes.
a chain out battle, Jeremy versus Darrell for the number 1.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah, but I'm injured.
Yeah, well, then I might actually have a chance. So we're going to
Yeah.
go out there, and I'm going to go on to hole number 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a really understable paradox. I'm going to fire that thing off the tee.
Yeah.
It's going to actually make the Mando for once in its gosh darn life.
It's actually going to turn right.
It's going to turn right. It's going to sail because the wind's going to be moving from left to right, just floating that thing, floating it over there. As it's floating over, I'm going to look up in the air and I'm going to go, just as I do, that disc with the power of Bob and Doug is going to go to those chains, going to go to that basket, between the band, between the cage. The one thing it can't do, it would never do.
It would never, ever, Jeremy.
Not in its life. It would never. Chain out! Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
I'm not going to say love you this time. My wife gave me a hard time last time, but I love you anyways.
Okay. Bye, guys.